Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about the difference between being a definite thinker and an indefinite thinker. Now, definite thinkers have a clear vision of the future, a specific thing that they're looking towards, whereas indefinite thinkers rely on randomness and uncertainty to become part of their vision for the future, meaning that any number of things can happen and they're not actually looking at or working towards anything. So there's these four quadrants of definite thinking versus indefinite thinking. You have definite optimism, indefinite optimism, definite pessimism, and indefinite pessimism. Now the problem with indefinite thinking, like I said, is that you're relying on randomness and uncertainty. You have no idea what's going to happen in the future. And you're not looking towards anything to actually happen. You're just drifting, you're idle. And so many people today fall in the category of being an indefinite thinker, whether it's indefinite pessimism or indefinite optimism. They are one of those two things. And nowadays, I'd say what's destroying our world, our culture, is indefinite optimism, not indefinite pessimism. Although I think a lot of men have turned to indefinite pessimism because basically everything's let them down and they have nothing to look forward to. But you need to take control in your life and realize that you have to have something to look towards. The people that are indefinite optimists believe that the future is going to be great no matter what. Anything could happen. They're not working towards anything, they're not doing anything specific, they're not looking towards anything specific, they don't have a clear vision of anything, but it's just going to be better anyway. No matter what happens, they think the future will always be better just because it will be. Now, to me, that really reminds me of hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and so on. And how now we are in a time of weak men where being hypersexual, being focused on nothing in the future, having no clear vision in the future, not focusing on the present to make a better future is the popular thing to do. And if you're doing the exact opposite of that, people look at you strange. But that's exactly why you should do the exact opposite of that, because these people believe that no matter what they do, no matter how many people they sleep with, no matter how many times they allow themselves not to take action on their lives, they believe that yet the world will still be better and their lives will still be better. And like I said, because of this, so many men have turned to indefinite pessimism, believing that because there's so many indefinite optimists in the world, nothing will ever be good again. I mean, since basically the beginning of the 20th century, especially in America, the idea of being a definite optimist has severely declined. Severely declined because basically up until the 20th century, maybe halfway through the 20th century in America, we were a nation, and you could say some of Canada and maybe parts of Europe, not so much. Absolutely America, though. We were focused on believing that the future would be better. Not because it magically would be, but because we were actively working towards it. We were creating new things, we were doing new things, we were expanding out into country we had never been to. We were building families, creating communities from the ground up, and we knew that by doing this, it would make the future better. We built new forms of transportation. We made a country where you could basically do anything you wanted as long as you did not hurt anyone else. And that was so beautiful because we were all working towards one goal. Unfortunately, we have gone from being so driven as a people to being idle, to being mass groups of drifters that do nothing. But that can change, and you can be a part of that. You can be the anomaly, like I've said in previous videos, that changes that. And you have no idea how many people's lives you can affect, how many people's lives you can actually change. No idea. You actually have no idea how you can change your own life. You have no idea. Likely you have not even thought about it. But here's the thing. You need to either have the idea of being a definite optimist or maybe even definite pessimist. Now, even though I think being a definite optimist is better because you're working towards something, a future that you believe is better because you think these things are happening, but I can do something about this and I can create something, I can build something. The idea of definite pessimism means that You might believe that the future is going to be worse in some ways, or you're looking at bad things in the future, but at least you're looking at something clear that you can fix, that you can try to manage or work around in some way. But either way, as a man, you need to be definite in your decisions, and you need to be definite in what your idea is for the future. Imagine if we had enough young men come to realize that they need to have a definite vision for the future, a clear vision for the future. They found what they wanted to do, and they started working towards that. How could that change things? How could it change things if you started doing it? You have no idea. It would be fantastic. It would be amazing if you did that. And it's something we need to work towards. And another thing that made America so great is because there were so many definite optimists, so many definite thinkers, you can build off of each other. And that's what was happening in America for a long time. We were all building off of these other definite optimists, or maybe even definite pessimists, to make the future better. And I challenge you guys to think bigger about your lives. Think bigger. You have no idea what you can do. No idea. Sit down one day, someday over the weekend. If your weeks are very busy, do it over the weekend. Sit down and think. Forget about what I believe I actually could or couldn't do. What do I want to do? And you'll realize that it'll take you a long time to think about what you actually want to do. And if you start to work towards it, along the way, it'll be so much better than you can imagine. So much better. So that's my challenge for you guys. Think bigger. You can absolutely be a great man. And we need more of them. So yeah, just to go over it one more time, we have definite optimism, definite pessimism, indefinite optimism, and indefinite pessimism. Don't be an indefinite thinker. Be definite, be decisive, and have a clear vision for the future.